It's Wednesday, the 4th of May, 2022. Welcome to the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Amyler.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, we have 5 stories to get through in 5 minutes, and the first story today is a big one because the Reserve Bank has lifted the official cash rate, and last night the big banks, led by Commonwealth, started announcing they'd pass on the full amount.
Yes, the Central Bank Board met yesterday morning and decided enough is enough. Price rises are getting out of control and the Reserve Bank needs to take its foot off the accelerator. Remember, interest rates still remain extremely low. They'll continue rising throughout the year, and Governor Philip Lowe hinted that a neutral rate might be around 2.5%. That's where the bank eventually wants to get that cash rate to. It's going to go to 0.35%. Where to start on all this? Obviously not good for the government. Cost of living has become a major election issue. This doesn't help out. Yesterday, Prime Minister Scott Morrison blamed overseas factors. Governor Philip Lowe said it was both domestic and overseas factors. Jim Chalmers, the Shadow Treasurer, came out and said that Scott Morrison's economic plan was in tatters. All of it too much hyperbole, of course, but that's how it goes. What's it actually mean for us? It means our mortgages are going up. If you have a $500,000 mortgage paid off over 25 years, every 0.25% increase will cost you about $65 a month. You've got $1 million loan paid over 25 years, you'll be paying an extra $130 a month. And that's the bottom line for most of us.
All right, big story there to start us off, Sean. Story number 2 today is kind of away from the economic news. The election campaign. What was happening yesterday?
Well, not a huge amount because the economic news obviously dominated things. But ahead of that, Scott Morrison told multicultural communities a re-elected coalition would ensure freedom to practice their faith. That's a very critical issue for many of his constituents. He also said the coalition would prefer to be relegated to the opposition than negotiate with independents on policies such as emissions targets. Opposition leader Anthony Albanese was very much spruiking his health policies, or at least spruiking his health spending, and campaigning on rising cost of living issues. As a result of that rate rise yesterday, we're going to hear plenty of that in the next few days.
All right, on to story number 3, and Woolworths has reported a big jump in sales for the March quarter. This is in part due to food inflation, Sean.
Yes, we heard something similar from Coles last week. Woolworths reported sales up nearly 10% during the quarter, while online sales were up 33%. The period included COVID restrictions at the beginning of the year, and that helped the supermarket. CEO Brad Banducci said there hadn't been a major drop-off in customers since then. Good news. But one of the big problems for Woolies is getting stuff on shelves. Partly that's due to supply chain challenges and partly due to COVID-related absenteeism. Across the supermarket, prices on average increased 2.7% due to input cost pressures and fewer promotions. Fortunately, apples and avocado prices have fallen.
I love that you can always find a silver lining for us, Sean. Story number 4, how about this for an incentive payment? It's a cracker. Energy giant Santos held its annual general meeting yesterday. Shareholders weren't too delighted about the $6 million incentive payment made to Chief Executive Kevin Gallagher.
Yes, Chair Keith Spence said it was appropriate given the company's financial performance and Mr. Gallagher's leadership in areas such as carbon capture. There you go. He said Santos had been recognised for its leadership in that carbon capture area and storage. Certainly Santos's share price has soared, though that's as much about energy prices as anything else. One of the country's leading proxy advisory firms, Institutional Shareholder Services, recommended investors vote against the payment. No surprises there.
No, not really. All right, story number 5, Sean, and a very serious one out of the United States. The US Supreme Court might be close to striking down the right to abortion.
That's according to a leaked draft majority opinion reported by Politico. If true, it would end nearly 50 years of constitutional protections for abortion established in Roe v. Wade back in 1973. Michael, when it comes to flashpoints in the US, few are bigger than abortion rights. The 98-page draft majority opinion, draft remember, calls the landmark Roe v. Wade decision enshrining the right to abortion egregiously wrong from the start. Justice Samuel Alito wrote the majority opinion, and he said that he holds that Roe must be overruled.
All right, big story there. Okay, Sean, that's the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Wednesday, the 4th of May, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't quite enough for you, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed on your podcast platform. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.